All right, everybody. I'm Piper. He's the professor. We'll be coming to you. We'll start the show here in about 4 minutes. So if you're watching this on the replay, hang with us. Share it out. Post your questions, comments. We'll be talking Super Bowl 55. How you doing, Professor?
I'm doing all right, Piper. How you doing?
Man, we'll take a quick break and we'll be right back. And we'll join a live audience here just shortly.
You got me down again. All right, Professor. Man, another show tonight, Thursday night, 7:00. Man, we've been pretty consistent here this last month or so. How you doing?
I'm doing well. It's maybe the only consistent thing in my life at this point. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Hey, trying to figure out sports, the angles, the statistics, the edge, the hedge. Not easy, man. Not easy, which we've seen. Hey, I want to thank, first of all, everybody that's tuning in right now. Post in comments. Let us know what part of the country you're tuning in from. We love to hear from you. And share this out. Share this stream out. We are prepping. We want to do just a short show tonight, gearing up for the Super Bowl 55 in 2 weeks. So we'll have a big show next Thursday night as we roll into the Super Bowl. But just want to pop in, kind of keep our momentum and share with you some things that are going on. College basketball, the NFL playoffs. We kind of scratched the NBA, at least for the balance of this season, or at least the next few weeks, to focus in on college basketball in the NFL.
Yeah, you said it well.
Yeah. Professor, you're never speechless. So I'm sure you've got some comment on that.
No, I mean, we've been focusing on college basketball. There's a lot of behind the scenes tweets happening with that, trying to figure out a way to hone in on a smaller subset of plays. Just some things I've been hoping to make better. We think the balance of plays works well, but in a perfect world, we could potentially give out a smaller number of plays for people who just want to play 3 games a day or 10 games on a Saturday and not all 50. So we're doing a lot of behind the scenes work there, but nothing really to share yet.
Well, hey, here we are zooming in, and we never planned this, folks, but I'm in blue, you're in blue. Hey, text the word WIN to 214-416-9771. It's on the screen now. If you're just listening via audio, because you're not supposed to be looking at your phone, you're at dinner. I'll say it one more time. Text the word WIN, W-I-N, to 214-416-9771. You can catch us on the replay if you can't write that down. But Professor, in honor of the blue, I've got a little something for you. I always like to throw some surprises at you and make you a little nervous. But the Blue Man Group.
There you go.
Have you seen them in Vegas?
I've not. We actually tried to see them down the road here in Fort Worth a couple years ago, and they had some technical difficulty. So we drove down to Fort Worth, and they canceled the show as we were sitting down. So haven't seen them yet. Wanting to, though.
Maybe next week, and we could probably fund this for charity. We both get in blue face paint and really be in the Blue Man Group genre. What do you think?
We might have to clear the paint in the house with our wives, though, is the problem. Or at least my house. You're at a studio.
Yeah, that's probably not a real good idea. So I've got a lot of ideas. They're not always good ones. You've heard me say that before. So
don't we all?
Well, man, again, next week's show is going to be big as we roll into the Super Bowl. We'll be talking some prop bets. Hey, you've seen in comments, if you want to join us, and we're just going to kind of toy around with this concept. If you want to join us live tonight, there's a link. I'll post it up here now, and you can join us. You just need an iPhone, an Android phone works, an iPad, a Android tablet works. You just need a camera, a microphone. Headphones are ideal, or a computer with a webcam. That's how we connect. But let me put that link up real quick, and if anybody wants to hop in here, they can. Let's see right there. You'll have to, I don't think you can grab that link, maybe in chat, but that HTTPS link, you can grab that, and it's pretty intuitive. I'll show you how to do it. If you got some courage tonight, hop in here and chat with Piper and the Professor. We'd love to hear from you. So, well, Professor, let's go ahead and get into it. A little college basketball. One thing that I was tuning into is Kansas. A lot of the top tier programs in the country, Kansas, Duke, I shouldn't say Kansas. They've been on a little bit of a skid, but Duke, Kentucky, and North Carolina, some of the preeminent programs in the country, have really had an off year as far as the wins and losses. I know we've done a pretty good job betting against Kentucky or picking the other team. But Kansas, I noticed Oklahoma, we're broadcasting from Dallas-Fort Worth. Oklahoma has lost the last 2 games Oklahoma's beat Kansas the last 2 times out. And a little bit of a skid there. But what's your overall thoughts on the college basketball scene? I know you're digging into it each and every day, analyzing it. But just general, how this season's gone, just as a fan first.
Yeah, it's been interesting. Like you said, a lot of the programs that you usually think of as being the Blue Bloods and always performing well are struggling, and Kansas losing multiple or 3 straight, maybe it's even 4 now, conference games for the first time in decades. And we're actually against them tonight. We're on TCU with getting 14.5 points. Same thing. We just don't think that Kansas is as good as people think they are. The name on the jersey is carrying a lot of weight, but they're not that good. And like you mentioned, Duke, North Carolina, Kentucky struggling. A lot of these programs that have usually done really well, I'm not sure why. I'm not sure if it has to do with the lack of preparation or some of the ups and downs. Practices are different, meetings are different. I'm not sure what it is, but it's been kind of a topsy-turvy season for a lot of the big name programs.
Yeah, I can speak for Kentucky because I sat in Rupp Arena many games for a long time, and it's definitely an X factor when a 18, 19-year-old kid is playing in front of 22,000 rabid Big Blue fans. That can really get you going on. If you had a bad day in the classroom or your girlfriend broke up with you, you get on the court in Rupp Arena with 22,000 fans, and right now there's like 3,000. So that I think is a big X factor. I don't know how you would put it as an edge in our handicapping, but how would you rate that? Would that be a little bigger edge?
So
an arena like that?
Yeah, every team is deserving of a different home court edge based off of factors like that. We would not give the same home court edge to McNeese State as we would Kentucky. But even to further that point, a lot of the players for Kentucky, I think, and Duke and North Carolina and some of these other places thrive on the road crowds too, because they always have big crowds. So it always gets them up and gets them going, and they live off of that kind of the hate that's coming from the other side, and they're not getting that there either. So I'm not sure how much is affecting the overall, but yeah, overall the home court usually in college basketball averages a little over 3 points, almost 3.5. And this year we've knocked that down about 50% of what it usually is.
Hey, and on the ticker, if you're on Twitter, that's where the professor is posting a lot of the content, a lot of the picks. They're all free currently, and you can go to Piper and the Prof on Twitter. Lots of great content on there and late breaking news, and also on that community app. That's a great way for us to reach out to you as well. Well, Professor, NFL playoffs. I was tuned in. I was traveling on Sunday, but I caught some. I love I do some radio work here in Dallas-Fort Worth, and I really prefer to catch football on the radio. I mean, they articulate it, they describe it. It's good on TV as well, but I really enjoy the radio feed. How about you? Were you tuned in on the TV, or did you have it in your ear this past weekend?
Yeah, I was watching on TV, and you make a good point. It's very different on the radio than on the TV. The radio, you have to paint a picture. I've listened to a lot of baseball on the radio versus TV, and it's a whole different world. As a baseball announcer on the radio, you have to describe everything that's happening because they can't see it. You're not given that luxury of the video feed. So yeah, like you said, it's very different. But yeah, I was watching with my eyeballs, tearing them out a couple times this last weekend for sure.
Hey, shout out Jordan Tripp. I don't know if that's a friend of yours, but he said, hey, just started following us a couple weeks back with NCAA basketball. Said, you guys know your stuff. 100% love from Canada. You know Jordan?
I do not believe so.
Jordan, that's awesome, man. See, that's the power of this. We connect with people. Sports obviously transcends the entire globe, and we know the Canadians probably prefer hockey, but basketball and football, American football is pretty popular. So, Jordan, thank you for tuning in, my man. Good stuff.
Yeah, and you mentioned the college basketball. I'm pleased so far. You look at, since we got our little issue fixed right off the false start, but our last over 400 picks now are 54%. So again, I mentioned this from the very start. If someone claims they're going to give you 70% winners, I don't know how that's possible. That's so we just don't think you're ever going to reach heights like that. We'd like to obviously be better than 54%, but 54%, even if you take a random subset of that, you're going to make a little bit of money. And for a lot of people, you're just going to keep your money. And so I know that's a big draw right there is, hey, how can I gamble for free? If we can keep you in the 52, 53, 54% range, you're making a little buck, you're not losing any money. So that's the service we're trying to provide. So we're pleased to have a large number of picks and still be a good amount above 500 here in our last few weeks.
Yeah, that's good. And we're just kind of getting cranked up. But hey, let's go ahead and dive right in to those recaps from last weekend. We won't keep you all long, so just stay tuned. And again, make sure you tune in next week, next Thursday night, 7 p.m., whether you're on YouTube, the Facebook page here, or out on Twitter, Periscope, and invite all your friends. We'll have a little Super Bowl party leading into the actual Super Bowl 55. But last weekend, I know, Professor, you and I were kind of texting back and forth. I was in Wichita Falls, Texas. I finally did get to a restaurant and watch the nightcap, and like a sports bar type thing. And exciting football. Both games were pretty exciting. But man, what were your thoughts on the way things kind of came together there on Sunday night?
Well, in the first game, I think a lot of attention is being paid to the fourth down decision that Green Bay had. Rightfully so. It was a controversial call. I would have gone for it myself. I don't think kicking the field goal was the dumbest thing that people are making it out to be. And when you think about it, had they gotten the fourth down, which was not highly likely, they still needed to get a 2-point conversion. That's only to be tied and have a 50-50 chance.
Yeah, I was really surprised at that too. The whole season's on the line, and I think there was only
a little over 2 minutes left.
Yeah. I know they had all 3 timeouts in the 2-minute warning, but still, everything had to just fall into perfect place for them to.
I think what people aren't considering is that it had to fall into place perfectly in either way, and they were in a really tough spot. And I think that's what's getting lost in this, is that was a really tough spot, and I would have gone for it personally. But even if they kicked it or go for it, I think what people are so focused in on that decision. And again, I wouldn't have done that, but that doesn't take away from the fact that the first 58 minutes of the game, Tampa Bay put them in a really tough position. And I think that's the key takeaway for me that's getting lost in all of this. I think Tampa Bay is not getting a lot of respect from that game because of that one decision, but they were in that position that was tough no matter what, because of how well Tampa Bay played the first 58 minutes. We were on Tampa Bay 2 weeks ago. We were on Tampa Bay last week. And I think Tampa Bay's a good team and should be getting more love than they are getting, because we're so focused in on that controversial call rather than the fact that Tampa played really well.
Now, you've gone on record, at least with me, to say, hey, you're probably going to quit playing the over-under. We had Tampa Bay, but then gave it back on the over-under.
Yeah, I'm trying to provide some extra fun for people on here, and clearly the totals are not working out well for us. And to be clear, if you're curious, we model the spread. We don't model the total. The total is just things I'm going off of, trying to see if I can find another edge to give people. Clearly that hasn't worked with the totals. As noted on Twitter, on the spreads, we are 7-4 in the playoffs, up 3.6 units. And that's what we're going to be doing next season. We're going to be sticking to the spreads, especially with 16 games. There's no need to get cute. So next season, what we'll have is we'll have 4 plays, 5 plays, 6 plays a week. We'll pick out the edges we like. We have no need to get cute. We don't want to bet every single game. Here, with only 2 games in the docket, I said, hey, I want to give people some fun, and apparently I'm picking them all the wrong ways on the totals.
Hey, great point, Professor. You mentioned next season. Really, this is just kind of a beta version. We're kind of testing the waters, tweaking some things, and really kind of getting some momentum, getting it out there. Like, there's no way we would have connected with our man Jordan Tripp in Canada if we didn't start this season. So, that's the power of what we're doing here and the live streaming. So, never a perfect time to start a new program, especially something this magnitude. But I'm glad we did. And, that Buffalo Kansas City game, I see you made some notes there. I said the show prior that I was going to stick my neck out as long as Mahomes was healthy and his concussion protocol. But in all fairness, I didn't really put it out there on Twitter or anything. So I know you give me credit for Piper going 2-0 in my picks, but I guess maybe I get partial credit for that one.
We'll give you 1.5-0.
Yeah, being a professor in the classroom, you give partial credit sometimes, right?
Yeah, when it's warranted. Hey, next year we'll have to make sure that you're going on record more often, right? We'll have to track how we're doing and see who does better. But I was actually going back and watching that show last week, and I took a direct quote of what I said. I talked about how I didn't love the play, but we're going to follow the math because more times than not, it's right. And I said specifically, it doesn't mean Kansas City won't win and won't win big. And sure enough, that's what happened. But that's what we talk about here is I'm a math guy. And what we are saying is Kansas City is obviously a very good team. They did win big. The idea is that next season, when we get 16 games a week, we're going to have probably 2 plays every week that you don't like. And what's going to happen is over the course of the season, those plays are probably going to go 55, 60%. And you just kind of sit there and say, hey, the math's seeing something and I don't love it, but it's going to work out more times than not. But occasionally what happened to Buffalo is going to happen to us next year too, where we're just going to get clobbered on the wrong side. And Kansas City came out to play and just took it to us. They looked really good after that slow start there off of that punt fumble.
So that gets to the storyline. Let's just go ahead and talk briefly about Super Bowl 55. What a great storyline. The NFL has to be salivating. CBS, who will be airing the game. Tony Romo will be get a chance to do the Super Bowl. And what a storyline. Tampa Bay, Tom Brady against the defending Super Bowl champions. Andy Reid versus Bruce Arians. I mean, just the Gronk. I mean, just a cast of characters rolling into Tampa Bay. But guess what? Tampa Bay just has to roll out of bed. It's a home game for Tampa Bay. Do you think that will make a difference? So much hype. I think a lot of coaches say we prefer to travel so we get in kind of a confined, hotel. We get the distractions out of the way, all the party stuff. Have you factored any of that in? I know we've already gone on record to pick Tampa Bay in this one, especially at 3.5. But any thoughts on that, the spectacle that goes around the Super Bowl?
Yeah, it's a great question. We have zero data on what happens with a team playing a home game, especially in a pandemic with no home crowd. I have no idea.
I don't think it's ever happened. I was checking records today. I don't think it's ever happened where the home team has played in the Super Bowl in their home stadium.
Yeah, it's never happened. So I have no idea what to do with it. I'm calling it nothing. I'm giving no edge to either team. I did hear the sportsbook director at William Hill make the comment that they were factoring it as potentially up to 1 point. I cannot see a world where it's more than 1 point. I'm having a hard time even getting to 1 point because the NFL home field for this season was barely a point. Maybe it's a half a point. Again, I'm not factoring in anything. I'm counting it as a true neutral game. But if anything, you might even give Tampa a half-point edge. The familiarity with the locker room, with the stadium, with the grass, all sorts of things like that. But we're making it very minimal, so we're not actually giving any actual edge. But we've got Tampa Bay. I've got Tampa Bay as at minus 0.6, so basically a half-point favorite. Even the pro Kansas City goggles that I put on when I dive deep in my modeling, the most I can get out of it is Kansas City minus 1.8. I cannot justify Kansas City minus 3, not off the way these two teams are playing this year. I mentioned this on Twitter. I think people are looking at how Kansas City played last year. Last year, they were a phenomenal team. This year, they haven't been as good. I just can't justify Kansas City minus 3 in any way, shape, or form. So that's why we're, as you mentioned, we already locked this in on Twitter. We like Tampa Bay plus 3. We like Tampa Bay plus 3.5. We like Tampa Bay money line. We think there's good value. And just like last week, that doesn't mean that Mahomes will make us look like a fool. We think Tampa Bay is a really good team. We think Tampa Bay is a better team than Buffalo. And so that's the way we're going to play it.
Yeah, it should be exciting. I know you're being very safe there. I know once you feel more comfortable in the COVID protocol, or once you get vaccinated, you'll probably be, well, people can't see it. It's off camera, but you'll be in the chair here. We'll have some fun here in the studio. And you got any plans like Super Bowl party or anything? Or are you going to kind of stay there at the house?
Just staying at the house for now. I haven't actually thought through it. So.
And hey, next week, I'll go ahead and put it on the screen. We'll have, I texted some people out and said something about prop bets, and they said, what the heck's a prop bet? Well, it's the stuff where, the first fat guy to score, an offensive or defensive lineman, or the coin toss, or Gatorade shower, how long were the over-under on the national anthem, stuff like that. We'll dig into more of that next week. That'll be a lot of fun as well.
I will have a play on the national anthem. I will not have a play on the coin toss. I cannot justify betting the coin toss, but we will look at the national anthem. We will have a play for you there. That is a favorite pastime of mine, pulling out the old stopwatch and clocking the anthem and seeing if it goes over or under. Every once in a while, you get they added an extra word, they added an extra line, and it lengthens it out. You get some drama and some fun before they even kick the ball off.
Well, Professor, any parting shots, comments for the audience until we return next week? Make sure you tune into Twitter for all the college basketball, any late breaking news on the Super Bowl. That's where all the information lives currently. So make sure you follow us on Twitter, like us here on the Facebook, YouTube, wherever you live. Comment. We'll monitor these comments throughout the week. Any final words, Professor?
Hey, like you said, tune in next week. We're going to have a lot of fun props here. I haven't boiled down exactly what we'll talk about, but we'll talk about some fun things like the anthem. We'll talk about a halftime show. We'll talk about some game props as well. Not picking a total. Either way, there's no total action.
We have a couple live guests as well. We just kind of threw it out there randomly today, but normally we plan our guests in advance. So we'll probably have some guests on to talk about it, and should be a lot of fun. But man, another great show. We got on the air, and I'll talk to you throughout the week, and we'll see you right back here next Thursday, 7 p.m. Central, 8 o'clock Eastern.
I think it's right.
6 o'clock Mountain.
6 o'clock Mountain, yeah.
5 o'clock Pacific.
Hey, do something good, everyone. Here's my I gave blood today, so go out there and do something good this weekend, all right?
Yeah, we like to do a little public service. That's a nice little PSA there, Professor. So nice job. We'll close out with a little music if we got it going. And thank you all so much for being a part of this one. We'll talk to you soon.